Hey guys, welcome to Travel Bros episode 14 today. Now we're going somewhere really cold. We're going to Park City, Utah. Talk about Jamie's little ski trip. I've also been to this property over the summer. But first, our quick news point. This was an interesting one. It's a little bit of a slow news cycle time, I would say. It seems like W Hotels is really trying to, save their brand or become a brand or try and be luxurious. I don't really know how to feel. They just finished a huge renovation of their Austin, Texas property, which the old version of, I think, it was rough. Looking at the pictures, it looks really interesting. I think I'm going to put it near the top of my list when I go back to Austin. I did stay at the Thompson, which we had a room review of. I don't know if we're going to do a full property review of. If people say they're interested, I might. It's not my favorite hotel. It's just kind of a run-of-the-mill city hotel. My suite was nice, but I don't think there's enough to really talk about. So the W might be something interesting. They did like I said, a huge renovation. It looks like they even went into renovating like common areas, rooms, the whole works. And that's kind of been in the news as far as the hotel project goes. It's 251 rooms, so it is a decent sized property, and it is smack dab in the middle of like downtown Austin, like where you want to be. So that said, I found this interesting note. The head of or brand leader of W Hotels, George Fleck, said they are working on redefining what W Hotels means. And I quote, "It's a signature, untraditional approach to luxury." Now, when you hear W Hotels, do you think luxury?
No, and it's funny you say that because I'm like, man, there's so many brands kind of like in that mid to high tier with Marriott. It's like, how do you differentiate yourself? When I think W, I always think like modern hip hotel, not necessarily luxury.
Yeah, and like the music in the elevators, I'm a little, I'm pushing on 40. I'm a little past that stage of my life. I've had some good experiences in W Hotels. Like I have a lot of great memories at the W San Diego from my 20s, but I do feel like the brand is a little tired to a
It's fair.
point. So it's exciting that if they're going to put a lot of money and pressure into these, and then I saw they're opening a huge new property in Cleveland, Ohio, which is not where, I would imagine new W going into Nashville, Tennessee, maybe not Cleveland, Ohio, but it's exciting. I can't think of a lot of hotels in Cleveland where I'm like, this is where I want to be. So, I mean, they're getting a brand new, it looks like it's a combo too. It's a W resident and hotel.
Okay.
So over $200 million project. So I just thought it was interesting. Maybe we'll keep an eye on W Hotels and see if they can really, I think the brand needs reinvigoration. Like it needs
Yes.
something to be excited about, because I agree, inside Marriott, it's just really lost these days. So, we'll put a note on that. W Hotels, TBD, might be the new hotness. If you guys have any W Hotels that you've found have been renovated or you think are above the brand standard, shoot us a message or leave a comment too. I'd love to at least look at them, see if maybe we can go visit one. But yeah, W Hotels, Austin. What's your thoughts here?
Well, I was going to say we may be jaded too. I find a lot of people, like the average traveler, doesn't understand how big a lot of umbrellas are for like a Hilton or a Marriott, right? Like just how many brands they own underneath them. I think we have better visibility into like, hey, W is part of Marriott. There's also like 10 other hotels that are kind of in that similar, level under the same brand where it gets lost, where, building a brand identity, I think outside of Marriott to, I'd say like the average traveler is probably something that's much needed.
Sure. But my counter argument is if I put my average traveler hat on, what is making me pick a W hotel? Because I don't
Oh
think
yeah,
it
no, I
falls,
agree. 100% agree.
I don't think it falls strongly into the luxury space. And then they're kind of overpriced if you're just considering it a regular hotel with fancy things. And I think sometimes they'll win on location in some
That was going
places,
to
but
be, I would choose for location, right? If it's the best location for whatever I'm doing and
yeah,
it's nicer than whatever else is there, I'd probably pick that.
I think it's just not a super kid friendly brand either. I just would, most of them have nightlife, music in the elevators and things.
Well, I think that was the vibe they've gone for, right? Like I feel like that
Right.
was kind of, hey, we're hip, we're cool. That was kind of
Yeah, it's
what.
almost like a nightclub hotel, but it seems like nightclub scene and just being out late at night is kind of dying and or dead. The pivot will be interesting. But anyway, that was my note. We're all going to do a Travel Bros meetup in Cleveland, Ohio once the W is open. Uh, But let's get into today's property, Waldorf Park City. It's a gorgeous property, a little bit of a unique property. It almost gives me like a very like Swiss chalet hotel feel versus like if you look at other properties in the area, like the St. Regis Deer Valley is a gorgeous property, stunning hotel, but it very much looks like a hotel, right? It's like this is a hotel and a ski mountain. Now the Waldorf doesn't have ski in, ski out, which is a downside, but it has a real lodge feel.
So Waldorf has ski in, gondola out. So
Okay.
there's the Frostwood gondola is right there, so you can gondola up and you can ski back to the hotel.
Oh, okay. So it's ski in,
Gondola out.
gondola out. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm glad you caught me there. Well, I've only been during the summer. You're obviously our resident ski expert. So why don't you give me, when did you stay? What's the situation on this property? Why are you picking it?
So I've stayed here now. I was trying to count. I think I've stayed here 6 times now. And it's always been during the winter, during ski season, or once we stayed in November, right before ski season. But I love this property for a number of different reasons. One, 35 minutes from Salt Lake City, so super accessible. I love being able to fly into Salt Lake and within 35 minutes be at my hotel. Find a lot of times if I'm skiing in Colorado, I'm flying into Denver just for ease, and then I'm 2 hours to drive to the resort. So accessibility, particularly on a shorter, like if you're doing a long weekend, great accessibility. So that's number one of my favorites. Kind of hitting on the decor and everything. I do love that it is, lots of dark wood, and it's got kind of that lodgy feel from the outside, lots of log and stuff like that. So when I picture like a mountain ski hotel resort, it is exactly what I picture. So I really like that. It's not a huge property, 160 rooms. So it's not it's not overrun with a ton of people. It's on the canyon side. So Park City, I don't know how many years ago, Park City and canyons combined to become like this one massive resort. So the canyon side is not where like the downtown area is. And that's where the Waldorf's located. I like skiing that side. It's typically not as crowded as the Park City side. There's not as many hotels and stuff over here. So I really like the location. I like the skiing. You walk right out, you hop on the gondola. The ski butlers have your stuff there waiting in the morning. You hop on the gondola, go up, and you can hop on either one of the other gondolas to take you all the way up the mountain, or you get on the Orange Bubble Express, which is like right there when you pop up off the Frostwood gondola from the Waldorf.
Nice. And what kind of amenities do you have at this property?
So a couple different things. So you've got multiple hot tubs and heated year-round pool. So like I said, every time I've gone has been in the winter. I've went with family and with adults only. So we love spending time at the pool. The pool is usually like 80 some degrees. So it feels like almost like bathtub water. Then you've got 2 hot tubs right out there. So we love hanging out there. They've got lights on the trees. So love that. Then you've got the fitness center, which is pretty decent size for the size property that it is. That's down in the basement. It's multiple rooms. So you've got like a classroom, you've got a bike room, then you've got free weights and like decent weight free weights, like up to like 75 pounds or something like that. So decent. They've got a couple different machines. So really nice setup fitness center. They've got a spa, 16,000 square foot spa. I have yet to go to it. I thought I was going to check it out this past trip and it didn't happen. Fairly like it's what you'd expect, resort price, like probably $300 for, massage, something like that. But it's supposed to be really nice. I just have not had a chance to check it out. A couple other things that I really like that they do, that they do a hot chocolate bar, at least in the winter. In the summer, probably not, but during ski season, they do this hot chocolate bar every day. I don't know if it's like I've got pictures of it, maybe like 4 to 6, but it's hot chocolate and then like any topping you or a kid could ever imagine. So that's a lot of fun. We did that pretty much every day after skiing. And then they do s'mores. So you can get stick and stuff to make s'mores. They've got big fire pits out front, so you can roast s'mores there. They've got fire pits on the pool side and on like the entrance side. So just a lot of really neat, like a lot of stonework, a lot of fire pits, fireplaces, a lot of wood. It's a really nice, like kind of rustic feel.
Do they still have the Peloton room? Like when I was there, they had a room with a couple Pelotons as one of those rooms.
Yep. Yeah. So they got, I didn't do any classes or anything, but yeah, they had a bunch of bikes in one of the rooms, and then they've got an empty classroom, and then they've got the fitness center. So it's a really good size workout equipment.
Yeah, I do like the walls kind of separating and breaking it up so you're not all in one big room, which is nice sometimes. And then do they have like a ski valet? Like we've talked about that with some other properties.
Yeah. So it was actually cool. And I've seen this kind of evolve over the years. So what used to be where the fitness center used to be, they've turned that into like the entrance to the ski valet. So they've got, when you get there, you go down, you get a locker. It's right on the main floor, so it's super accessible. They'll keep your skis, they'll keep your boots and keep them dry and warm overnight. So in the morning when you're ready to go, you go down there, you get your warm boots. They'll have your skis actually waiting over by the gondola for you. So you walk across, your skis are there, you grab them, hop on the gondola. End of the day, you just leave your skis at the base of the gondola. They'll bring them in for you at night. You go in, drop your boots and stuff. They'll give you slippers to take back to the room. So they've got a really nice setup there. They've got water and some fruit and stuff in the room if you want it. And then if you're going to ski somewhere else, they basically say, hey, let us know the night before, like if you're going to go to Alta or Deer Valley or something like that. And they'll keep your ski equipment like right there, so you don't have to go over to the gondola and pick it up. So that's kind of nice.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you generally stay and ski there, or do you ski other places when you go?
So I snowboard, so I'm fairly restricted in Utah, right? So like Deer Valley and I believe Alta and a lot of them are ski only. So I pretty much stay at Park City, Canyon Side. We also typically do an Epic Pass, so that also kind of restricts you to where you're going to go.
Okay, perfect. What about dining at the property?
There's not a ton of dining options, but the main restaurant is Powder. That serves basically every meal, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner there. And plus you have room service, which is also coming from Powder. So very similar menu. One thing I have noticed in the years that I've been going, which has probably been, 6 or 7 years now, is I feel like they have regular turnover with the chefs. So I feel like every year I go, the menu's very different than the year before. Which is not necessarily a bad thing because you only have one place, but I feel like I said, every year I go, I feel like it's a completely different menu and probably a different chef. The food's pretty much always been good, but it's always something different. So if you have something you love one year, don't expect it to be there the next year.
That is kind of, on one hand, it's nice that there's always new stuff, but that is definitely a little.
There used to be a breakfast
unfortunate as
sandwich
well.
that I would get. It was called the Outlaw Sandwich, and I was just like, it was a really good breakfast
had that.
sandwich. Yeah. And I ordered it the one year, and then the next year they're like, oh, we don't have that. And I'm like, you had it the last 2 times I came. They made something similar for me, but yeah, it's one thing I noticed that the menu changes pretty regularly.
Trying to think anything else before we really dig into the rooms. The Waldorf is kind of almost a little bit of a standalone hotel from where it is. And then you can take the gondola up to Canyons. What is your reason you're picking the Waldorf over maybe some of the Canyons hotels, considering they're so close? Is Waldorf just more of the luxurious option of those, or what's your take?
Well, yeah, a couple different things. So one, I do like the room layouts here. So we'll go a little bit more into it, but they have really nice like residential suites, which I really appreciate. Sundial up in Canyons is also probably a really good option too. Great location. This would not be, if you were coming, right? So this last trip we came during Sundance. This would not be where you would necessarily want, like, it's not the most convenient to Park City Village itself. So you're 15 minutes away from Park City. So if you're not coming to ski or snowboard and you're planning to spend a lot of time in Park City, they do have a shuttle that runs pretty regularly, but you're not going to walk out of your hotel and be like right in the middle of the action. You either need to shuttle into Park City or take the gondola up to Canyons for, any other restaurants and shops and stuff like that. So that would be, like I said, I like the layout here. I love the vibe of the hotel. Like, when we come, we typically ski, hang out at the pool, hot tub, maybe go out to dinner once or twice in the village. But other than that, we're spending a lot of time on property.
Two things. One thing I just thought of, because you snuck it in there earlier, people are going to totally annihilate you for saying that it's 30 minutes to Park City from Salt Lake City. However, interesting note, Trip Tales podcast by Kelsey Graves that I listened to recently So many people bully her about her claiming that it's that long. She timed it and posted it on her stories, which I thought was hilarious. And I think it took her 31 minutes. So it can be done.
I was going to say, now, traffic or snow, different, but it is, I mean, it's 30, 35 minutes, something like that. It's not super long.
People are very passionate telling her, you know, she's wrong. But that is social media and the internet for
I'll
you in
take it. I'll take
2025.
it.
Did you do this trip without a car? I guess is my next question.
So I am not a huge fan. This is a me thing. So this is here. This is Colorado. This is every pretty ski trip I take. A lot of people that I've gone on trips with, they'll do like Epic Mountain Express or whatever express. I don't know that renting a car is necessarily a huge. I don't think it saves you money. I get very car sick, so I like to drive myself personally. So I get a car every time I come. I like to be able to stop at the grocery store. I like to be able to drive into Park City if I want to. This past trip, we drove out to visit the ice castles, which was, I don't know, like an hour, I don't know, 45 minutes or an hour away. I don't remember how far it was. That was freaking awesome. It's worth renting a car just to go out and see these ice castles, in my opinion, if you're there during the winter.
Okay. If you'll have to send me where that is, I'll throw a link in there because that sounds pretty cool. I've always had a car when I've done Park City too. I just feel like there's a lot of stuff that's spread out. Like I've gone and hiked at Silver Lake, which is also a good drive, and just getting into the city to eat. I'll share. I have a few places I really like coffee wise and food wise on both sides from the property as well. So Park City seems like a hard place, or at least the Waldorf, it especially in general. I feel like it's a hard place without a car. I mean, you can always do it, but I think if you really want to be carless, Deer Valley is probably a better option because, right, there's just so many more food and things like right in your area. But that's just my quick opinion. But so you mentioned, let's get into the room types here. You mentioned you like some of these residential style properties. What kind of room were you in? And generally, what do you suggest booking for somebody here? Because I do feel like the standard room is a little on the small side.
Yeah, so I've stayed in a ton of different room types. I've stayed in a standard room. I've stayed in the 1-bedroom like residences. I've stayed in 2-bedroom residences, and I've stayed in the 2-bedroom, what's it called, like bi-level, or I don't know. I don't know the exact name of the other one. I love the 1-bedroom suites for whether it's just my wife and I or us and the kids. It's a great layout. And a couple different reasons why I really like the residential suites here. One, you've got full kitchen with like really nice like Viking appliances. So nice stove. I mean, like full refrigerator, ice maker. Now, again, I don't do a lot of cooking while we're there, but we will always buy cookie dough. And after skiing, we always throw like fresh baked chocolate chip cookies in the oven. Something we really enjoy doing, just kind of like our tradition. The one thing I really love about the residential suites is the washer and dryer, particularly on a ski vacation. I really love the 1-bedroom residences here. One for the full kitchen, right? So you've got stove, microwave, full refrigerator, ice maker. But I really love having the washer and dryer, particularly on ski trips. Like ski stuff is bulky. So if you're packing, if you have to pack, if you're going for a week, if you had to pack 7 underlayers, 7 ski socks, 7 everything, like that's a full suitcase at least. So by doing the residential suites, like you can cut down on packing. You don't have to pack so much stuff. If you're doing the hot tub every day afterwards, again, you can dry your bathing suit. You're not putting a cold, wet bathing suit on, things like that. So that's really nice. I love that all the rooms, even the standard room, have gas fireplaces in them. It is just such a nice like feeling coming back from a snowy ski day. Just cranking a knob, you've got the fireplace on. It's really nice. You can put your boots and stuff there. It's something I really enjoy after skiing. My use case or my sales pitch for why I do the 1-bedrooms as well, if you look at the price of a standard room to a 1-bedroom like residence, the pricing is not very significant. Like it's not a significant price jump, even during peak ski season. So you may be talking like a 360 or 375 square foot like standard room. The residence, which is probably 2 times the size of that or maybe more, the price may only jump 20 or 30%, right? So like you may be talking, I'm going to make up a number, but say $1,200 for a standard room during ski season. the suite may be $1,500 for what I feel like you're getting way more for. So I definitely think it's worth the splurge to do a 1 bedroom, like if you can.
Interesting. Yeah. And even looking like, I have a random just week pulled up so I could see all the room types, but even some of the 1 bedroom suite to the superior to they call it the bi-level, but essentially like a duplex. Even the prices of those 3 suite types are within $100.
Yeah, and so I will say the bi-level or the duplex type one was awesome. Where I would really want to get that would be in like spring or fall, because a really cool feature of those is they have an indoor-outdoor fireplace. So the balcony of those, you can actually like sit out there and there's a fireplace out there. We went in the middle of the winter when it's 15 degrees outside, so it's not very enjoyable to sit out even with the fire going. But I feel like on a fall night when it's like 40s or 50s out, like it would be a really cool hang out on your balcony. You got the fire going, have some snacks and wine, whatever. Like it would be a really cool vibe.
Nice. And then if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify video, whatever it may be, you can head over to YouTube. In our room tours tab, you did a full walkthrough of the 2-bedroom superior.
Yeah, so the recent one I stayed in was the 2-bedroom superior suite. We went with another couple. It was a great layout for us. Now, online, it shows that both bedrooms have king beds. We happen to have a king bed in one room and like 2 beds. I think they were queen size beds in the other room. But the 2-bedroom is awesome. So each bedroom has its own fireplace. The living room has a fireplace. You've got the awesome kitchen. We had 3 full bathrooms. So each bedroom had their own bathroom, and like the main living area also had its own bathroom, which was really nice. Big dining area. So, I mean, you could probably sit 6 or 7 people. The kitchen had bar stools. So like you got counter space there. It was just a really good space to hang out, like with whether it's extended family or another couple, friends, whatever.
Yeah. And it was 3 fireplaces, right? Because there's one in the living room and one in each bedroom.
Yeah, which is really nice. So even if you're not hanging out in the living room, right, like you're turned in for the night, crank on your fireplace, which is really nice.
Yeah. This property is a lot of fun. One thing, and maybe in your room it was a little bit better, but I do remember a room, like, I feel like the TVs are like a little small and old. I mean, not that you're going to Park City to watch TV, but if I had a nitpick about something I really didn't like, the TVs were a little underwhelming on property for me. Are they like that in the suites too? I don't remember from your video. But...
I don't remember, but I think the layout in the suites may be a little different. Like the TV's over the fireplace in the bedroom, and then same in the living room.
But I feel like they're not even like a 50-inch TV. Like
I was going to say, they may not be big. I will say
they're pretty small.
I just stayed at the Lowe's Portofino recently, and that was my comment there. The TV felt very undersized for the square footage of the rooms, like where it was noticeable. So I don't remember Park City, so it must not have been that significant, because I will notice that, but I'm going to take your word that it probably is the case.
Okay. I just feel like these days, like you got to at least have like a 55-inch TV in a room.
I agree.
You know? Oh, I found it on the website, 42.
Yeah. A little undersized.
You got a 18 to whatever, you're in a 1,300 square foot suite with a 42-inch TV is a little wussy, you know? Random sidebar, because if you don't know about these, you should definitely look it up. I was at Nebraska Furniture Mart, and I saw in person, I want to get the size right here, but it's it's a 180-inch plasma TV.
It's plasma? Things that weigh 1,000 pounds.
Oh, maybe it's not a plasma TV. I think it is a plasma TV, though. Well, it's some kind of like flat screen OLED, whatever the new trendy thing is. It looks crazy. I was like, somebody needs one of these. And first off, like every bar you go to needs one of these. Yeah. It's like a single frame. Maybe it's 146. Either way, it's so big. It's like over 10 feet. But like looking at it in person, I was like, dude, these are like, this is what you need, a big hotel party suite.
Yep.
Like call it the Super Bowl suite or March Madness suite. Vegas needs some of these for sure.
Yes.
But anyway, look up like 46-inch TV. I probably should have fact checked what I was actually looking at, but maybe when you get back into the rooms, we'll get rid of this sidebar. But anyway, it was the most stunning thing I'd ever seen in my life. And it was only, I want to say it was like $8,800.
That's crazy.
I mean, not to say that's cheap for a TV, but I mean,
no, but think about what, 20 years ago when flat screens first came out, you'd probably pay that for a
Yeah,
50-inch.
I know. Yeah, what a country. But it was really cool just looking at a screen that big that wasn't like a projector, you know?
Yeah, that's why. I mean, just to take up a whole wall like that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. It stunning. Someone needs to do that in like a lobby area or some of these hotel bars. I think that'd be I mean, for that kind of price investment, I just think the wow factor, if you had a bar with like behind the bar with one of those even, you know, I mean, if you think about it, at a bar, you'd probably need 5 TVs anyway, right? That are
Do one
50
big
inches.
one.
Like just get one
That'd be
10-footer.
awesome.
Eh, it's a cool idea anyway. But yeah, the TV at the Waldorf is a little small.
So I was gonna say, talking bars. I will say that the Waldorf, like the bar at Powder, they do a lot of really good like craft cocktails and old fashions and stuff like that. That I've always been impressed every year consistently. The bartenders are great and like the drinks are always really good there.
And I am not a alcoholic drinker. However, I will say I really remember loving their coffee there and hot chocolates. Like they had some really great options for that as well. So you gotta have good hot chocolate, right? If you're
Yeah.
you know, one of these.
Well, and I appreciate that they don't try to do too much with the hot chocolate. I've been to a few fancy hotels and restaurants, and it's like we had all these spices and this and that to hot chocolate, and it doesn't taste like hot chocolate anymore. I'm like, I want hot chocolate. I don't want like your fancy chocolate drink.
Yeah, they can get very carried away, I think. So I can't actually find this TV on Nebraska French Remark, but it's a trust me bro situation.
I trust you.
They do have a 136-inch all-in-one TV that's 33,000 and 115 for 20. They don't have. There's a Samsung 98-inch, but I'm confident it was bigger than because 98 inches is like only 8 feet. But anyway, those are in the 8 to 10 range. I think some bars need to invest in that. But good to know the Waldorf bar is where it's at. What else? What else would make you go here? What about somebody who skis in Colorado? Let's say all the time. They're a big Aspen guy or Vail guy. What's your use case for giving Park City a try?
So the mountain's huge. So there's, I mean, tons of terrain. This thing is, I think I put some notes, like 7,500 acres, something like that. I know when they combined at the time, I think it was the largest skiable terrain in the US. I think it may still be. I don't know that for sure. I know that, or I'm pretty sure that Whistler Blackcomb is the largest in North America, but I think Park City is probably the biggest in the USA. So you have tons of skiable terrain. I think it's a very intermediate friendly mountain, particularly on the canyon side. Like you can get there's a lot of blue runs that are very long. So you can go pretty much top to bottom on blue runs, which is good. If you're going with kids, things like that. So you're not going to get bored. There's plenty of terrain. The village is really cool. I mean, Park City Village is awesome. We were there during Sundance this year. So I thought I was being really smart, not booking a holiday weekend, right? I'm like, oh, I'm going to avoid the crowds. Well, then all of a sudden I find out it's Sundance and like the hotel's sold out and everything's sold out. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. Well, talking to the locals, Sundance is like the best time to go out there to go skiing if you can get somewhere to stay because the mountain's empty. Like no one's in town no one's in town to ski. Everyone's in town for Sundance. So like lift lines were non-existent. So that's a good tip. If you're a skier and you're not into movies, and you can get somewhere to stay, go out during Sundance because like the mountain experience is going to be great. That being said, they closed the village roads for the first time ever for Sundance this year. So that was also a pretty cool experience, like walking around the village in Park City and there are no cars driving around. So you could just hop from back and forth between stores and restaurants and bars and stuff like that. But it is possible that this is the last year that Sundance is in Park City. Well, 2026. The contract ends, and there's multiple cities in the running to try and land the Sundance Film Festival. So I don't know if Park City closed the roads down like in an attempt to be like, hey, look what we can do. Stay here. Like, we'll take care of you. But I heard that Cleveland may be in the running, Denver, and yeah, it's kind of fun fact tie back to the W in Cleveland.
Wow.
Maybe
the W has inside information. It's going to Cleveland. They're like, we got to get this W up.
But yeah, I think it was Cleveland, Denver, and maybe one other city was like vying to land Sundance after 2026. So if you want to go to Park City for Sundance, like 2026 may be your last year. So check it out.
Perfect. And then what? Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So maybe 2025 Sundance, you need, or I guess they'll be there in 2026. Maybe that needs to be your ski trip. That could be your ski hack if you just want to ski and be around. Book that with us quick, 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 because I'm sure hotels are going to book up fast as
Yep.
Sundance gets a little closer. So, how about pricing wise? Like, what is skiing over there compared to like Vail and those places? Is it about comparable? What
Yeah.
passes work?
Being it's epic, they pretty much all kind of fall in that same price range. If you know you're going to ski, buy it ahead, like way ahead, because once you get into like the cutoff for epic passes, Vail Resorts is freaking ruthless with their pricing. Like a walk up 1 day ticket is like $300 at any Vail Resort now, which is outrageous. But if you book them ahead of time, like you buy a 3 day pass before the season, it's like $400. Um,
Mm,
so don't take a last minute trip. Like definitely plan for it.
okay.
Or buy an epic pass or epic local pass, do a couple ski trips over the season. Like that's a real money saver. But yeah, walk up window rates are like $300 now, which is in my mind outrageous. That's crazy to me.
That seems outrageous, but as a person getting old, I feel like the price of everything is outrageous these days. Um, I think that's pretty helpful. What about do you have any tips in Park City Village? Things, suggestions you like? If not, I got a couple places. You got anything like fresh
Yeah,
off your head?
got a couple. So one, this is more if you need to rent stuff, there is a rental place right in the Waldorf. So like if you don't have your own ski equipment, you can rent it right. Like it's literally right next to the gym and like the basement of the hotel. So super convenient. Like you can get fitted if you get in, at a decent hour, get fitted that day and you have your skis are ready for the next day. So that's one. The High West Saloon is always a popular one. So it's like a whiskey distillery slash restaurant. So if you can, they don't do reservations, so it's walk up only. But if you can get in there, it's usually a fun time. It's typical bar food, but cool vibe. They'll do like outside bar too. So even during the winter, there's like a good scene out there. That's pretty cool. We went to this little tapas place called 710 Bodega. It was pretty good. We enjoyed the food. I hadn't been there before, so it is like right off the main street. It's like 1 block off Main Street. Food was good. Um, we just ordered like 10 different tapas things between us and tried it all, but it was good and it was well, I told you the story before, like we were scared. We walked in and there was nobody there. We're like, what the heck? It's Sundance, like the streets are packed and there's no one here. It opened at 6 o'clock and we had a 6 o'clock reservation. We got there at like 5:50 and they're like, hey, we're not open yet, but you can sit down. So that kind of alleviated it, filled up pretty quickly. But those are a couple that I would say if you're in town, it's worth checking out. What you got?
Okay. Yeah, I think I've got when you're coming right off 80 and you turn off to head down to the hotel on I don't know what that is, 224 or whatever that road is. Right when you get off the highway, there's a Whole Foods and a Walmart, and there's even an outlet mall if you really need some shopping. But Whole Foods and Walmart should be able to cover anything you need, right, as you're coming into town. And then across the street from there is this restaurant. It's called Cortona, Cortona. It's a little Italian restaurant. I loved it. And we had just come back from Italy when we stayed here. I thought it was fantastic. However, I sent one of our clients here recently and he did not love it. So here nor there, I don't know. Maybe they were having an off day. Um, but that's like probably one of my favorite places in Park City. I'd love to go back. And then you can actually walk here from the Park City. How about this? I ran here. It's probably a little too far to walk for most normal people, but if you have your car, Hugo Coffee Shop is pretty good. It's right on the same road, but it is, I think, 5 or 6 miles to the north of where you're staying now that I think about it. The couple places I really like in Park City Village, I think Harvest is probably my favorite place in Park City for breakfast. They close at 2 or 3. It's priced really friendly. The ingredients are really good there. It's always busy, which, downside, but when you think of pricing and things, I think you can get out of there under $15 a person with
That's really good.
coffee and an entree. It's really good and the quality's great. The other places I really liked there, Lucky Ones Coffee. And another place that I had tagged that I ate there, I can't recall it, but when I look at the pictures on Google, they looked really good. It's called Five. It's the word five, then the number 5 for seeds. So I think it's supposed to be 5 seats, but they use a
Yeah.
5 instead of an S. I had that start as a place that I had really enjoyed too. It's a little outside of the city. It's like on the end of Park City Village, like right as it's starting. And it's in kind of like a very nondescript plaza with like a grocery store and like a Subway. It's kind of hard to find bad food in Park City. I really like Park City. I kind of like it more than Vail. Even I feel like the quality of food, and it's a little like I don't know what the word is. I think Vail and Park City are very equivalent in their like affluence and the people that are there, but Park City's like a little more mellow and the prices are a little more reasonable. Is that just me? Do you feel that way?
No, I would agree. And well, I think that one of the words that I would probably describe, like when I think about the village, it's more authentic. Like it's a to me, it's a real ski village. When I think Vail, which I love Vail, like when you walk around it though, it's like you've got the heated sidewalks and it's very like Vail Resorts owned and like operated, right? Like it's more commercial. It's like more master planned. Where I feel like Park City Village, it's more like organic, like it was here and it's kind of just like grown and you have residential and you've got, it's just kind of a mismatch. So it feels more like authentic.
Yeah, and Park City fights tooth and nail to not let anyone build anything there now. They're definitely trying to hang on to, that size and feel. But I think there's just a lot to do. And then we did like the Alpine slides in the summer that are just north of town. So that's like something to consider when you're there in off season. I will say we did Vail last Columbus Day. And man, if it wasn't for all the little playgrounds everywhere, I feel like we kind of would have started to run dry on things to do. We had an easier time in Park City. I don't know. There's a lot more kid-friendly trails. I mean, one day we just drove into Salt Lake City and like went to the zoo and did some stuff and came home because it's so
30
close.
minutes.
Whereas
30 minutes.
Yeah. Whereas Denver is
2 hours.
Yeah, less than 30 minutes, people. Denver is just so far when you get out of there, and that there's some things you got to decide if you want to do or if they really matter to you. But I find a lot of people that are big Colorado skiers have never been to Park City, or people that are really into Tahoe. I always try and encourage people to give Park City a chance because I do think it's a really fun place. There's some great hotel properties. There's a lot of great food. Any closing words for you? Like, why do you pick Park City over Vail or some of these other places constantly?
A big one is realistically is the ease of getting there. The Salt Lake City airport, now I fly American from Charlotte. If you're flying Delta, it's even better because you're not stuck in like this, you're not getting 2 miles of walking in. But I absolutely love that the rental car place is right on property. So it's super easy, like with your ski gear. If you fly into Denver, if you've never flown into Denver with kids and ski gear, it's a miserable experience because you're shuttling to go pick up your rental car, 10 minutes away. And it is not fun, particularly if you have little kids. It's gotten better now that my kids are, 15 and 11 and they can carry their own stuff. But when they were little and we used to go to Colorado, I'm carrying car seats, I'm carrying ski gear, I'm carrying everything. And I'm like schlepping on this shuttle. And then you go to Park City and you're like, oh, this is nice. Like I just grab the rental car and go. So that's a big one. And then also the 2 hours in the car, right? I much prefer to spend 30, 40 minutes in the car versus 2+ hours to get to the resort. So it's accessibility is a big part for me.
Yeah, I'm a little lucky in Dallas. I've got direct flights to EGE Airport, Eagle Vale, but they're expensive. I think American has 2 flights a day. They're never cheap. Even in the off season, I feel like they're a grip. But that puts you within 30 minutes, but it is a very limited airport accessibility for most people, even don't have that. And I will double down. Salt Lake City is one of the few places we can fly on Delta 2 out of Dallas. And I will say Delta has done such a good job with their presence at Salt Lake. The new Sky Club is
beautiful,
humongous, but I've never been there where there's been a line. I'm sure it gets to be that way because it seems like every person and their mother has access to the Delta Lounge these days, but they do a really good job of it being a really big space, but doesn't feel big. And I think the quality of food and things in the Delta Lounges now are really underappreciated, especially when you compare it to Denver, like what you've got with United.
Well, I will say too, that Delta Lounge, that I thought this was cool. I happen to have a callback whenever it was that I flew through there on Delta. Mm-hmm. And they had those little rooms that you go in and like lock the door. They're like silent booths. And I'm like, this is a great idea. Like everyone should have these. So it is a really nice lounge.
Yeah, I got stuck there on the way to Reno, of all places. for a couple hours on a flight delay. And I really didn't mind working in there. The food was really good. So I do agree with you that that's a plus side of the experience. And the rental car setup and everything in Salt Lake is very nice for sure.
Well, what's cool, if you're flying Delta, you can literally drop the rental car and there's a Delta check-in counter, like literally right there. Like you don't even have to haul your stuff into the airport. It's in the rental car section if you're flying Delta, which is really nice.
Yeah, and that's huge. Because, the worst part about vacation is putting in work, right? Nobody wants to be doing that on vacation. So that is a great tip. And yeah. So, I mean, if you're in a Delta hub or a big Delta flyer, I think all the more reasons to, look at Park City over some of these other options. And I feel like that's a Waldorf Park City wrap. If you'd like to book the Waldorf Park City,
I was going to
DM us.
Quick
hit
plug.
Our form.
It is
What's
Hilton
your plug here?
It is Hilton for luxury. So if you do book with us, we can get you breakfast for 2 daily, $100 property credit, double Hilton points, which if you're doing an expensive ski stay, you're probably going to earn enough points to get another free night at some point. You'll also get a welcome amenity, upgrade, early check-in, late checkout, all based on availability. So some great extra perks. If you are going to stay here, we can save you some money, get you some extra value. We'd love to help you.
I love it. Yeah. And almost everywhere we've got a link it's like travelbrospod.com/book with us, or you can just click anywhere on the site. Feel free to DM us on any platform as well. If you follow us, Instagram, TikTok, I will shoot you that link. We've been getting more and more comments, and I'm definitely missing some of them. A lot of our comments are me arguing with people about the Grand Floridian versus Four Seasons. But here nor there. I will try and reply to everyone. I feel like I've been falling a little bit behind as they've been coming in, but I promise I'm doing my best. Definitely. So please, give us a follow anywhere. If you haven't left us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen, please do that. That'd help us a ton. And we will see you next week where we are talking about Hyatt Privé. Spoiler alert. So awesome. Thanks, guys.
See ya.